here to testify on 23-194. I am so sorry. We have the roadmap to what is going to happen to so many of these people in Lahaina. Many people are not going to recover, and there's no systems in place to help them from falling into despair. I am working right now so that individuals who are living unhoused do not have their property and their items removed and destroyed as we speak, because that is happening. And so anybody who falls into this, get ready for how the county's about to treat you. And they're going to eliminate who you are, and they're just going to call you a success because they removed a pile of items that they call trash, or they removed your vehicle you're living in because you don't feel safe enough to leave it. So get ready. It's not a pretty picture.
Where's my family?
You should have stayed, Dad.
I am not your mother.
No, my mother never cleaned a toilet in her life.
Maybe that was her problem.
My mother. My mother taught me what was necessary to rule in this universe.
Like killing people?
I create life! And I destroy it. Life is an act of consumption, Jupiter. To live is to consume. Now the human beings on your planet are merely a resource, waiting to be converted into capital. And this entire enterprise is just a small part in a vast and beautiful machine defined by evolution, designed to a single purpose: to create profit.
That's what your mother taught you, then I could see why you hated her.
I loved my mother.
And yet you're trying to kill me.
My mother made me understand that every human society is a pyramid, and that some lives will always matter more than others. And it's better to accept this than to pretend it isn't true.
This wasn't a nuke. It wasn't a fucking... wasn't a laser beam. This is real demonic shit. Watch here.
All of these cars have been just completely burned. And I have to tell you, there's a certain smell of this neighborhood. It smells of ash and chemicals and other things that I don't even know what it is.
Dead bodies.
Look at this. We keep hearing about the burned metal. Well, this is metal that was completely burned.
Yeah, let's take a look and see. Now let's see. That looks like it's aluminum. So let's see how hot that fire had to be. Look, there's not enough material there for this to have gotten that hot. It just isn't. It just is not. There's no trees there, and the buildings are very flimsy. You can see most of it is brick, so that wouldn't burn.
It's unreal. The car windows just blown out, and then the glass was melted. What really struck me about being in this neighborhood is that part of it was not destroyed, and now you have Kupuna just up that road with those homes that were not destroyed, but still covered with dust and soot.
Yeah, like this one back here. You want to see a funny picture? Wait. Here. Every other house around it is gone except for this one. Give me a fucking break. This is demonic activity. Period. I'd like to know who lives in there. and what kind of little symbols they got all over the place. Do you see what I mean? There's not enough material to get the fire hot enough to burn cars' wheels off of them. Period. That just ain't going to happen. This is demonic activity. Demonic activity is nuclear activity, but not nuclear like somebody dropped a bomb. If that was the case, everything would have been flattened. Okay. The children's souls are atomic, so is yours. They need the atomic energy to keep this thing going. The people are sacrificed. The reason for the fire is a quick release of energy. That's why they use it. They're using soul power to keep this fucking thing going. And it's only one group that has a contract with death and destruction. The fucking Drakientas. It's always them, and when that doesn't work, we'll start a war so there's more bloodshed and pain, or we'll kill animals, or we'll starve people to death. This is their gag. And if this is a cabin in the woods scenario, then fuck it, let this place come to an end. Stop paying these fucking demons to keep this fucking place going. So here, this is from some different storms. Now this is this is one on Hawaii, and notice they cue in on a chimney. This is Hurricane Sandy. Gee whiz, who's in the middle here? With everything all burnt up around her. There she is, there's Mother. This is the Paradise fire, and it's just so nice that they have Mother's face on a chimney. And here's one from Hurricane Sandy too. What's with the chimneys? Well, have you ever seen those popes or those bishops or whatever the fuck they are in the Catholic Church, and they walk around with that thing and it's smoking? If you go read what that originally was used for, is they put meat in there, and it was cooked meat because they said, oh, the gods like the smell of cooked meat. Wow. And then we know what that's called. No, and not the Drakienta one, or the Drakienta kind, a real Holocaust, which means a burning offering. Okay, that's what it means. It means a burnt offering or sacrifice, not the Drakienta one where it was, oh, Germans put us in a camp. It's funny that the Drakientas like to talk about, oh, they put us in ovens. Well, what's connected to an oven? Well, a chimney is. See? Because it's really mommy of the Drakientas that's doing this shit. Right? So, they like the smell of burnt meat. That's what those bishops in the Catholic Church, they put incense in it now. But it was originally for meat, and we can only assume what kind of meat that was. So, this is a real Holocaust. Everybody that died in there, and it's over 2,000 now, was a burnt sacrifice. Wow. So here, I told you from this song that I remember from the 70s. Interestingly enough, it was 1973. It says, welcome back, my friends, to the show that never ends. We're so glad you could attend. Come inside. Come inside. You've got to see the show. It's a dynamo. That's what Mother is right over here. See the electricity? Right? You notice it goes past the guy and it goes into the woman. Right? It's a dynamo. Somebody sent this to me. Teams from veteran-led organizations in Maui assist in relief operations of fire-stricken island. Project Dynamo and Team Rubicon are among veteran-led organizations. Project fucking Dynamo? Then if you look up here, come inside, the show's about to start, guaranteed to blow your head apart. Well, we all know what that is. Rest assured you'll get your money's worth. The greatest show in heaven, hell, or earth. I'm in the ballpark on this. I guarantee you that shit's coming from downstairs. It's coming from downstairs. And it's coming up. That's why this shit is burning in its spot and nothing around it's hitting it. Now, I'll show you one other little thing that's not really an oddity, but I'll just throw it in. So here, Revelations 9:4. And they were told not to hurt the grass of the field, nor any green thing, nor any tree, but only the people who do not have the seal of God on their foreheads. Are they talking about the seal of Saturn? Because Oprah's house didn't get hurt, and Bill Gates' house didn't get hurt, and a bunch of other real rich people that are definitely connected to that, their houses didn't burn, but everybody else's did. So, just bringing that up. Just bringing that up. So, I just thought I'd throw that in there. I remember reading that as a kid. So, those are the locusts that come out of the bottomless pit. And if you don't have the seal of God on their forehead, then they fuck with you. So, if this was two sides that were pitted against each other, why would the locusts that came out of the pit go after their own people? It doesn't make any sense. If the seal of God is the seal of Saturn, then they're not going to fuck with their own people. But they would fuck with people that don't have that seal. And I can assure you that seal is the seal of Saturn. I guarantee it is. I want to read this to you. This is from that hurricane. Supposedly, the guy, whose name was Sandy Fry, which is interesting because he did a simulation of it in 1997. Okay? It wound up being called Hurricane Sandy. But then when we read this underneath, it says, these texts were used as a drill simulation, or stimulus. Now this is where it's interesting. Look what it says here. They were time shifted. Okay? I told you they're messing with time to stimulate landfall around 6 p.m. on Saturday. So we got 6 and 6. October, right? 4. It says working backward from this time. We use these texts to generate and automatically update a World Wide Web. Wicca or Set. Set is Egyptian. Okay? And send email to the Westchester Ares. This is an important word right here. Whether you can read this or not, go full screen. ARES. Almost like Aryan, right? Races. Email reflector to Fax County Emergency Operation and the National Weather Service. This is getting way out of hand. And I'm going to show you some more stuff here in a second. Just so you get this, this is all utter bullshit. We are being completely fucking screwed here. Completely. I don't believe nothing on the news. Nothing. Okay, let's continue on. Let's see who Ares, because it was Ares/race. Okay? He's a Greek god, okay? Was the Greek god of war. He was one of the 12 Olympiads and the son of Zeus and Hera. He often represents physical or violent aspect of war. Okay? So, we've got reversal of time, we've got war, we've got a guy named Sandy. So we know that this Ares guy is involved in war. Well, Saturn and Mars play both of these parts. Okay? But here's the kicker right here. And I want you guys, do you remember a couple years ago, was it a couple years ago,
where they said, oh, the American troops are being completely and overwhelmingly stressed out from being there, and they killed a puppy, and it was on YouTube, and everybody was like freaking out. I'm going to show you why they really killed that puppy. And it's the same reason that they're using this name, Aries Races, okay, in conjunction with the hurricane that came through, because it all comes down to the same fucking thing. Now, you guys remember this? Live links. That was 2008. I'm sorry, it was longer ago than I thought. U.S. soldier throws puppy off cliff in Iraq. Okay? See this here? Why would somebody do that? Oh, he's so stressed out. You better understand what mentality you're dealing with here. You're dealing with a bunch of fucking crazy, bloodthirsty racists. I'm going to prove it right now. Let's look. Cult and ritual. Although Ares received occasional sacrifices from armies going to war, the god had a formal temple and cult at a few sites. At Sparta, okay, now we're talking Rome, okay? We're talking Roman, we're talking Saturn, we're talking that particular fucking ilk. And what comes out of Rome? Nazis, dude. Nazi, it's all Nazism. At Sparta, however, youths each sacrificed a puppy to Enyalios before engaging in a ritual at Phobia, whatever. The knight sacrifices a dog to Enyalios, became assimilated with the cult of Ares. Okay, so look at here. That guy they didn't flip out and kill that dog. They killed that dog because the same reason they killed those people in New York City. It's all the same thing. That's why it says in that briefing that it's Ares/racist. It's Aries. Aries racist. Aryan. Wake the fuck up. Stop listening to the news. Stop listening to anything to do with telecommunications. As far as them telling you what's going on. I'm telling you, the news is not going to tell you, and they're going to go from city to city wiping people out. That's what's happening. I'm sure of it, and it's already started. Do it. Believe what you want. It's all right there. It's right in your face. Fucking guy was 9 years old. It's a simulation of one, yet it's really happening. What the fuck is going on here to us? What are they doing to us? This is crazy. Anyway, let's look at this. I think this is from 2000. It's either 2002 or 2006. Bush said this, and I remember a long time looking at this saying there's something really wrong with this. In a 14-minute speech, twice President Bush mentioned and asked the question, does the angel in the whirlwind still direct the storm? Does the angel in the whirlwind still direct the storm? I gotta tell you, it sounds awful suspicious like what happened in New York. Does the angel in the whirlwind still direct the storm, referring to America? Is what I think. And then when I went and I looked it up, you could go and look this guy's name up, the second, third, and fourth lines. The fourth quatrain, interesting, 4 cube, which is the statement that contains that the angel in the whirlwind directs the storm and he hurls death. Is that not what we saw in New York? I come off as a hard ass and I scream a lot, and I'm sorry, but I mean, I don't know what to tell you. It's just the times that we live in, and people better start understanding this isn't fairy tale shit. There were people that were in there that were killed by something that wasn't human. And they burned the fucker to the ground. That's how you get rid of the evidence. That was not a storm. Look at the storm pattern. It was going north and then it just made a left. Hurricanes don't do that. They hit the coast and they cartwheel up the coast. Okay, that thing was coming. I told you, Coney 2012. Means knock out New York, and I said over and over again it was either New York or Chicago. It was New York. So please, pay attention to this stuff. It isn't a joke anymore. It isn't a conspiracy. Fuck 9/11. All 9/11 was telling you that it had begun. 9/11. Revelation 9/11. And they had a king, and he was the king of the bottomless pit, and his name was Abaddon. But in the Greek, his name is Apollyon. Okay? Isn't it interesting that it happened on 9/11? And that it coincides with with Revelations 9/11? Because they're telling you. All you got to do is just think a little bit. Alright, the birds might be a little noisy, sorry, nothing I can do about that. Look, basically, every one of these points, you got Brighton Beach here, interesting, you got a pink and a purple and yellow here on the woman. From the financial district, all of these streets, okay, all were part of that storm and that flood and that whatever, the destruction, okay? But all the rest of these, the Yukon Territory, Nebraska, Tenafly, New Guinea, Mount Fuji, Las Vegas, every one of those, with the exception of Nebraska, had an earthquake on the 30th, the same time that the storm was going on. You can't ignore this connection where they put Saturn center of the Earth. There is a cube in the center of this planet. What's inside that cube are the things that are coming out. This all goes back to the whole Chilean miner thing. Okay? If you go look in the video where you see where it says Tenafly, I clicked on YouTube, and the first one came up, and the time that the guy stamped on there is 3:30. Well, you know, it's ridiculous. The Nebraska earthquake happened October 18. That's 9. And it was a... oh, let's see, it happened on the 18th. You know, I mean, it happened on the 18th, and it was a 1.8 or something, but they both equal, no, it was a 3.6. So it's 9 and 9 again, that's 18, that's 9. There's something going on. When it's all 9, something's going to bust loose. I don't give a shit what anybody says. The New Yorker just doesn't put nutty things on the front just to do it. If you go look at the artist, he's way into the occult. I believe these are exit points. Okay, if you look at New Guinea, not a lot of people living there. There's plenty of jungle, places to hide. Mount Fuji, ain't nobody living up on the top of there. The Yukon, that is up in Canada, and it's all forested, but it's desolate. And what I mean by that is there ain't a lot of people living in that area. You know, this all goes back to the Titans. It all goes back to Tartarus and them being released, and just a whole bunch of stuff. So just understand, it's not a coincidence that there were earthquakes on the 30th, the same time that storm was going on. This stuff is just beginning, and when these things come out of the ground, I don't know what they are. If biblically it says, and there were giants in the earth, so you know, is that what's coming out? I don't know. But you got that cube, which represents Saturn, or represents the cube that those things are locked in, that are coming up. It's just too weird. It's too weird, but it shows that there's a pattern to this stuff.